What's up, world? Welcome to today's show, the Crazy Gentleman Podcast. I'm your host, the Crazy Gentleman, and this week we got a special one for you today. It is a show with Detroit Antique Motorcycles. Randy Hayward, obviously out of Detroit. This will be my first Mama Tried episode, and it will also be the first YouTube actual podcast episode. So anyways, yeah, it's also brought to you by Evan Simbita _custom_knives on Instagram. And you could also give him a call, 740-270-9057. Give Evan a call. Tell him I sent you. Order a badass knife like this one. Also brought to you by Bare Knuckle Performance. BareKnucklePerformance.com, home of the most badass American-made parts for all of your Harley-Davidson needs. FXRs, Dynas, Sportsters, Baggers, Choppers, whatever you're into, hit them up. Also brought to you by Lexin-Moto.com for all the badass audio devices inside of your helmet. Hit them up, Lexin-Moto.com. Listen to this inside your helmet if you're not watching it on YouTube or driving your car. If you're having a boring commute, then you probably shouldn't be wearing your helmet. But if you want a fun commute, throw your helmet on, listen to a Lexin, fire up your motorcycle, and listen to this. Or just be lazy on your couch and watch it on YouTube, whatever. Also, you should probably check out the Bump Shop Diaries on Instagram. This is the only place that you're going to be able to get Crazy Gentleman shirts right now. Or become a Patreon member and subscribe to this, because that's still going on. I got to thank everyone who has signed up for the Patreon, who has subscribed already. It's crazy to see some of those names right after I record this. I'm going to be making some phone calls and shooting some messages out there. They're just people I never expected to do that, man. Thank you guys. Pretty crazy to see, man. It's just mind-blowing so far. So, yeah, continue to do that. There's still shirts left. I don't know what shirts left because, like I said, right after this, I'm contacting those people in order that they subscribe to see what they want. But either way, man, hit it up. Thanks for your support. And I'm also working on the whole editing and all that. I got to say that for these first few episodes, even right now, this intro, camera angles, sound, all that stuff. I only just got all of this equipment just days before leaving for Mama Tried. I kind of didn't have a chance to play with all that and understand what I was going to get. So the video quality for these Mama Tried episodes is only, I forgot if there's either 3 or 4 of them, isn't that awesome. The audio is pretty good because this Saramonic equipment makes it super easy. I think the audio quality is better than ever with these YouTube episodes. The podcast kind of is what it is. It's just what the podcast has always been. Audio quality is pretty good for a lot of episodes. I didn't re-listen to these Mama Tried audios yet, but I did listen to the video ones so far, and the audio is pretty awesome. So yeah, there's that. So bear with me with the audio quality. I'm working on all that in the editing. I'm doing that now. It's gonna be the first one that I actually edited up for like camera angles and stuff. I'm doing this with the 360 camera, so you'll be able to see like the Mama Tried stuff in our background and stuff like that. I'm working on it. Same with like even when you're scrolling on YouTube to do the searches, I'm working on all of that. Or like even during the video, like things that can pop up, like links that'll pop up while we're talking and stuff like that. I haven't figured out how to do all the cool kid YouTube stuff yet. Even the thumbnail stuff was a pain in the ass because just like the format in which I pulled those pictures to do the thumbnails said that it wasn't the right format for YouTube. So that the intro video, that's literally just a thumbnail that YouTube picked out, that neighborhood nightmare thing. So I'm working on that. I'm working on all the cool kid YouTube stuff. But even then, even when I figure all of that out, I'm still going to keep it to a minimum. I'm really not looking to edit here. Even an intro like this, like the Mama Tried stuff is going to get the intros like you're seeing right here, this little video intro. But like even with the podcast end of things, for you guys that are just listening and not watching the YouTube videos, I'm going to start to not even do, like the intros are going to be done right in front of the guests for the shows, including the YouTube. I don't even want to do these intros anymore. I just want to streamline it all, one file, upload it all, little to no editing. So I'm just like trying to keep transparent with everyone for like what's going to be going on in the future. I think I have some more future stuff to go over, but I just forget it. I don't write any of this down. I don't even know if I talked about this on the podcast over the last couple of years, but like none of this is written down. None of this is scripted for the intros. It'd probably be better if I do, but I don't. Like I tell people, this is why I'm your mechanic. I'm not your attorney or your doctor. And this is why I'm your YouTube guy now. I'm not your fucking doctor. So here we are, man. I'm just winging it. I am the version, if you guys are familiar with that Instagram audio that's been popping up now, it's like, dude, I don't know what I'm doing. People ask what I'm doing. Like, I don't know. Like, whatever. I'm not doing that a justice, but that's all I'm doing is just winging this here. So, hope you guys enjoyed this first YouTube video at Mama Tried. Thank you so much, Randy. And don't forget to go check out everyone who supports this show. And thank you so much. Guys, please like, subscribe, give me a little rating. Please keep it positive. What else? Yeah, like, subscribe, become a Patreon member. The shirts are still available. There's still a few spots left for that. Go get it while you can pick out your sizes and styles and all that stuff. Hit up the Bump Shop Diaries if you just want to buy more. And go check out Evo Jesus' YouTube stuff. Or not YouTube stuff, his vintage stuff. His vintage show. And I may as well really take advantage here. I never really thought of it until this week, like doing the whole YouTube thing. But like the podcast listens go anywhere from like 500 to 2,000. Depends on my guest and all that. I'm hoping to break a record here with Randy. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know if the podcast listens will go down now that like listeners will start jumping ship to YouTube. I don't really know. But either way, I never really thought of it with all these people starting to listen now. I'm looking for a spool wheel for this panhead build behind me. So if anyone has a spool 21-inch wheel out there, get at me. I don't care what the condition is. I don't care if it's a free, if you guys want to throw free parts at me that I'm looking for to, in the name of supporting this show, that would be cool. Some people have done that in the past and they never even, they just did it out of the kindness of their heart. And they said, call it a podcast donation. Which is like in the intro when I said I never really took money for the show, even with some of these sponsors here. I've never until now, until these first Patreon subscribers, I've never actually taken money for the show. So I have always taken money in the donation of cool things like a knife. I did pay for this one, but not some of the others. Or like Harley parts. I've always taken Harley parts in donation for this show. That's cool. That does support this show. Or maybe a free Airbnb or a place to stay for the night. That's cool. Traveling is very expensive. Keep that in mind. The Patreon support supports all this traveling. One of the goals here, I said it on the Patreon thing, my little stuff that I wrote on the Patreon page, is one of my goals is I really want to start flying around the country to do these shows. Like A city like Milwaukee, I could do a bunch of shows in Milwaukee. I could do a bunch of shows in like San Diego or Dallas, Texas, or, you know, some of these more major hubs. Indianapolis is another one, man. There's some good ones there. A lot of these people know. I've been in contact with a lot of them. I try and line things up very far in advance for when I'm traveling through, or it'll dictate where and how I travel to certain destinations. So yeah, just keep all that in mind, man. That's like some of the goal here is like taking on more sponsors and more Patreon people to get behind this show. Dude, I will travel all over the globe or have these people come to me. I'm out of New York, dude. I'm 40 minutes out of Manhattan. You could fly into any major airport in New York or New Jersey and come stay with me. That'll be another goal, man. If I could get people to fly here or justify a vacation for them to come here, and guess what? You got a free place to stay in New York, right outside of Manhattan. I got another place upstate if you want to see the mountains. Like, let's figure it out. That's one of the reasons I'm trying to like get people behind this Patreon thing. I want to start bringing this show to a whole nother level. I got an invite to Japan right now, but tickets are not cheap. I could do some crazy shows in Japan. I got a place to stay there. And that's just an offer outside of the show offers and some other things. Like, let's bring this thing worldwide. I'm down with it. I'll fucking jump on a plane tomorrow. I just need to get the funding up. So here we are, man. For the first time, I'm asking for some support. I hate doing that. Everything I've ever done in my life so far has just been all on my own, man. And I'm learning that I can't do that on my own. To achieve other certain goals, to bring this place to a whole nother level, I gotta reach out, whether it's to individuals or companies. Please contact me. Even if you want to contact me as an individual outside of this Patreon thing and show support some other odd way. Like I said, maybe you got a series of Airbnbs or you own a hotel or whatever, man. Reach out. I'm open for any and all suggestions. Hit me on my email, my Instagram. Go to the website. That's where you can find the email, by the way. thecrazygentlemanpodcast.com right now. Very shortly, it'll just be thecrazygentleman.com. Or find me on Instagram. Hit me up with any offers you got. I'm open for all of it, man. You got you got a spool wheel for me, or you got a hotel for me to stay at, or you just want to ask, hey, where can I send some PayPal money? Also, if you want to just do a one-time donation, if the idea of the Patreon is like too big of a commitment, or you just don't even want to sign up for Patreon, because I get that. I don't want to sign up for shit either. If you just want to just throw me a couple bucks one time, I got PayPal, I got Zelle, I got Venmo, I got all that. Just hit me on an email. I'll tell you where to get all that. I'm going to be setting up just a Crazy Gentleman place to donate one-time things for that too. If these hoes on fucking OnlyFans can do it, I can. At least there's some real hard work and support here. I'm not just flashing things. It is what it is. I don't get down on it, man. I'm fascinated by it that girls can make $100,000 a month doing that. Why not support a guy that's jumping on a motorcycle and doing it, putting in some hard work, really putting in some time, not just taking clothes off in a bedroom? I mean, really. I get it. I'm not getting down on people for doing it. I'm just saying. It is what it is. You guys know what I'm talking about that are listening out there. Anyways, I'm going to cut to the show. Here's Randy. For the people listening on podcast, here's Evo Jesus. I know he's got another intro for you this week. And I just want to thank everyone who has supported to this day. And I hope more people come on board. And I'll see you guys next week. Have a nice day, world. All right, man. All right. Here we are. Hello, Internet. We're here at Mama Tried Motorcycle Show in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, with Randy Hayward.
That's right. But if my mom was here, y'all would call me Randy Hayward. But most people call me Detroit. So you can call me Detroit, and if you want to get punched, call me Randy. No, I'm just joking. You can call me whatever you want. Call me whatever you want.
Yeah, don't catch that black eye, man.
That's right, baby.
Yeah. I guess you've been in Detroit, born and raised your whole life. Is that where?
Born and raised. Left the city when I was 19 and went in the military. And as is the case, somebody said, "Where are you from?" New York. You become New York, Kansas. I was from Detroit, so Detroit, and that was kind of a moniker that came in and out, and I like to rep the city. I like folks to know that some good things come out of Detroit, at least one, well maybe four, my kids too. Right.
Yeah, dude, that's one of the music capitals of America, really.
Absolutely.
You know?
Music
Talk
capital.
about some history.
Oh yeah, it's history, music, Motor City, and I'll give you a little fact. It was the stove capital of the world.
Really?
So the next time you see my race bike, as I was telling brother yesterday, that number plate came off of a wood burning stove.
Really?
Still got original nickel on it.
Really?
Yeah, I can't paint, so I couldn't do a good number plate, so I just found that one.
Yeah, no, that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. I just lost track. Oh, so the display you have here. What's the actual proper name for it? I don't want to fuck that up.
So that's all right. I have a traveling Black History Museum.
Okay.
It travels all over the country. You can call, you can book it, I have artifacts from the 1600s right on through to today. And then within the museum, we have special exhibits. So if you called and said, Detroit, I want something on antebellum, I want something on civil rights. In this case, it's motorcycles. So we brought this special exhibit, and this one is called Blacks in Motion, Riding in the Tracks of History. And it looks at artifacts that are unknown. We want to make sure some of the names of the great African-American racers get known, you know?
Yeah. What you said you were in the military.
Yes.
I know the military also has a history of basically not giving marginalized people any credit for what they did.
That's right. That's right.
Is that what started you on this path? Was your time in the military?
Not really. I mean, it was indirectly tied to the military. You know, I grew up black. I think I'm gonna stay black my whole life. And so I'm just saying to my people out there, I'm gonna stay black. Don't trip on me.
You'd have to take a pretty strong shower to change.
Yeah, baby, I gotta do some stuff. But there was a famous movie called, I won't give you the title of the movie. Actually, it's a historical movie called Watermelon Man, and it's about a guy who changed. It was before his time, dealt with race. But really, it wasn't the military directly.
Yeah.
It was growing up black. It was being marginalized. It was going to school, thinking I'm doing well, and then you find out these little tidbits of historical fact that you know you didn't get teach. And what's sad, forget just me as a black guy not getting teach.
Yeah.
Everybody, we miss out, right? And so I started collecting these artifacts. I was stationed in Florida, and one of the first pieces I bought when I went back to visit Florida was this black dial, because you couldn't, you know, some of the poverty was so stricken. And this was across the races. The parents made the toys. So I bought this dial that somebody sold from 1920, 1930. And so it was crazy in that started me to collecting. And man, it's a rabbit hole. It's so much history. And here's the kicker. Black history is American history.
Right,
you know?
right.
So that did it. But I will give credit to the military in that they were one of the first major institutions to desegregate, you know.
Okay. And
then I ride on the MC set with the Buffalo Soldiers, and we recognize the 9th and 10th Cavalry, because in 1866, the government enacted the first African-American troops, you know, the 9th and 10th Cavalry, the Buffalo Soldiers.
Okay. Wow. I guess speaking of that, because this would go back that far. one of the things someone had requested me ask you about yesterday.
I get requests. Talk to me.
Was they wanted to hear the story of the chest that you carry around.
Oh yeah, man.
That blew my mind, man.
Yeah,
that blew my mind.
That's I don't know who asked that question, but they up on it, right?
So, I'll tell you if you want to know.
Well, you know, you can get him the shout out.
Yeah, I got a shout out to Ken, the Mad Story.
Absolutely, right on, Ken. Ken doing some wonderful things. He actually donated a couple pieces to the museum. Thank you, Ken.
Yeah, he was showing me the pictures and all. It was pretty cool because I'm from New York also.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
What happened during slavery? Slavery ended in 1865 across the nation, but prior to that, there were some parts of the country that had ended slavery. And if you could make it to those parts of the country, there was organizations that helped to protect your newfound freedom. But the key was trying to get away. So there was this cat named Henry Brown. And he put himself in a steam trunk and mailed himself to freedom. And he eventually became known as Henry Box Brown. You can find books, children's books on it. And he kind of took his show on the road in the North to talk about that experience, you know. But yeah, he said, listen, I can't wait for freedom to come to me. I'm going to it. So he put himself, and so I take the steam trunk. So when people ask, why do you travel with the steam trunk? Because we want to represent traveling Black History Museum, and more importantly, we get a chance to give those historical facts. And we just found the dimensions of the box that Box Brown put himself in. Yeah, it's really small. And I'm gonna build one. I'm gonna take it to the school. I might even let some kids get in there. So if you see me on the news, talk about I was putting kids in slave boxes. You know I was just trying to teach.
Yeah, that might be your first and last gig, dude.
It probably will be, but I'm going out fighting, baby. I'm teaching history.
Did you try to get in that box? Can you fit?
No, I
in
can't
dimensions
fit.
That size?
You know,
was he a pretty small man?
Well, most of the folks compared to, they didn't have McDonald's. I ain't dogging McDonald's or other fast food spots that increased our girth and all of that. So what happened was, few folks were smaller than what we are, but he was relatively small to be able to fit in the box. Okay. I mean, it was a small box.
I mean, dude, they were on the brink of starvation half the time. You know, society wasn't. I'm kind of a history nerd of everything, world history, American history, and man, people don't realize that humans really only started living comfortable the last 200 years.
Oh yeah,
but really the last 120, 150 now.
Yeah, you're teaching, and it's true because, and there's a saying. We crack open history books and we say, man, this was a great time. This is what I tell people: the best of time is the time you're living in.
Yes.
Period.
Yes.
Make it the best of time.
Yeah.
Because somebody in the 1600s was probably saying, man, somebody in the 1200s had it rough. Yep. And so, when people start saying the good old days are right now.
Yep.
Make them the good old days.
Yep. Yeah, that's I like that. Right now, we're in the good old days.
We're in the good old days.
Yeah.
And if you look like me, you're old and in the good old days.
He ain't that old. He told me how old he was yesterday. He ain't that old.
Yes, sir. Let me give you this money.
You're doing good.
Let me give you this money that I'm gonna pay you for. Look.
Listen, man. I don't turn down money regardless, man.
Good. As brother checking out the exhibit, he done walked in the video. I hope he has no warrants out for him. Yeah. Because you were on camera, sir.
I'm so proud of you. I know this.
I appreciate you, brother.
You must be VIP, dude. I know this. It ain't open to the public yet.
It ain't open to. That's my brother. We're gonna kick him off stage in a minute, but I'm gonna give him a shout out.
And get some video for you. Proud.
I appreciate
Absolutely,
it.
man.
World, if you don't know, that's one of the baddest builders in the game. I showed up to an event. He said, "Can you watch my bike?"
Yo, man. Come back here a minute.
We were at the Harley Davidson dealership. And I was doing a race in 2018.
Yep.
This is why you don't know who you're talking to. So 2018, I'm doing a race. And you have to have 3 races under your belt, and you can race for Harley for the race of gentlemen.
Okay.
So as is with racing, your bike break, I run over to Home Depot to get some hardware. I see this brother and another cat. This is Dale and another cat named Corey. And they're walking around Home Depot, and I say, y'all come to the races. What races, man? We here for the 115th. So we're talking, and I take him over, and I show him. I open the van door. I travel with a minivan and my bike's in there, and I open the door, and I show him the race bike. And he's like, "Oh, that's nice, man. I have to check you out." Then he walked away, and he got on his bike and rode off. I said, "Dang, that was a mic drop, right?" And then we wind up being at a show a few days later, and he said, "Man, I got to bring a couple bikes in. I'm gonna set it here. Would you watch the bike?" About 4 or 5 bikes later, that he all built.
Really?
He built them all, and I've had Dale come out to Detroit to my show. Yeah, a lot of times we walk around and we see people, and we don't know who they are. That's why I say stop and talk to people. Matter of fact,
You don't mind hanging out, right? I want you to get
Dale's
a
going to come and sign this later. This is when he was receiving an award from Willie G. Now, folks, we didn't plan any of this. Dale just walked
I
in.
never even seen this
He
guy.
just walked into the set and threw off the camera. Don't judge him, folks.
Actually, I didn't know y'all was still filming. I thought y'all were taking a break.
Actually, this is how we catch wanted criminals.
Yeah.
We get them to walk past the camera. No, I'm joking.
I didn't want to walk in on y'all filming. I'm
No,
sorry.
brother, look.
You got to be
know,
more careful in the age of technology, man.
It's always good to see you. So this is Dale. What's your
Yeah,
Instagram,
give it a
Dale?
shout out. What's your who you at, man?
Dale
Tell the
Battle,
world.
Dangerous Designs. I'm on Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, hold on. I forgot, dude. I just started shooting with these. Say that again.
Dale L. Battle, Dangerous Designs. I'm on Facebook and Instagram.
All right.
Look, ladies, I know he's handsome and he builds nice bikes, but we're not here for Dale. Get off my stage, Dale.
Good luck,
Good to see you, brother.
I'm excited that for you for the day, over.
Absolutely, I appreciate
Hey,
you.
man, nice to meet you.
All right, no doubt.
No, all right.
Hey, listen, this is what we do, right?
Yeah. No, I like the spontaneous stuff in the shows, man.
Absolutely.
I like it.
Man. Look, we keep thinking it's about motorcycles when it's really about people.
Yep.
Somebody asked me what makes some of the shows unique. And what makes Mama Try, for example, unique. Look at the size of this, the eclectic bikes, the size of the collection, the venue, and it still feels familiar.
Yeah.
Like we're in this family.
There is a little tight community they get in here.
Absolutely.
It's amazing how they curated the show.
Absolutely,
It's something special that they've done here.
Absolutely.
And I don't know if you know, that camera is a 360 camera, so anyone who doesn't know or hasn't been, I'll pan around and they can see all this.
Right on.
You know?
Look, folks. Now that don't mean you don't buy your ticket and come to Mama Try. Get up,
That's
get out here,
right.
and get a ticket. Come join us.
That's right. Yeah, this is definitely a must come see. Break up the
Absolutely.
winter, you know.
Absolutely.
And that's how I met you actually. Was it last year, 2 years ago? You had your, was it a 1929, the electric bike?
I did. I had a 1929 electric 4-cylinder Indian 4. And, you know, it kind of split the motorcycle world because people were sending me messages. They didn't send any death threats. I thought that would have been cool, you know. And so, why would you do this? And I'm from Detroit, so sometimes I'm flippant.
Yeah.
And I said, because I own it.
Right.
You do what you
right.
want if you own it. But actually, I did it because it was stuck in my head, and I wanted this experiment to really be able to manifest. And then we got to inspire the young people. No, I wasn't trying to promote EV, even though I think it's ingenious. I wear gasoline for cologne. Actually, I wear gasoline for cologne, so my wife would know I was working on the bike and not out with some ladies. No, I'm just joking.
jeez.
Just joking, honey. See, I do work on bikes. But I did that bike because I really wanted to do what other folks are doing with innovation. Absolutely.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's really the whole thing behind that bike was just you know, you're into electric and you thought it'd be cool.
Well,
No one dared you. Or,
no one dared me. I went to the 110th anniversary, and it was a crowd gathering. When I worked my way through the crowd, they had an EV prototype on display,
Okay.
the live wire. And people were like tripping. And I was like, no, this is innovation, man. This is cutting edge.
Right.
And most people who trip don't come for me. And if you do, I'm here waiting. The most people who trip on innovation do not understand history.
Right.
Electric is not new.
Right.
The
It was crushed by the gas companies.
Come on now, listen.
You know?
And the big dog won, right?
Yep.
But it's not new. It was a land speed record held by an electric car. I believe it was called a torpedo.
Really?
There was an electric land speed bike taken out to Bonneville, a bike with full gigantic batteries. I tell people history is not linear, it splinters off. And so don't look at it from this sense of what are they trying to do to me. Look at it from innovation.
Right, right.
I mean, there was more electric cars on the road at one point than gas-powered cars.
Really?
Absolutely. Early 1900s.
That's crazy.
Electric vehicles started in the late 1800s. As a matter of fact, the first hybrid electric car was done by Ferdinand Porsche. It started up with gas and it had electric motors on the wheels.
Really?
See, I keep telling y'all folks, you better learn this history.
That is crazy. I'm gonna sidetrack too, man.
Yes.
I think I'm almost happier I didn't know you when you were younger, cause damn, dude, you're always daring people to get at you.
Hey,
You must have been a little spicy when you were younger, man.
No, those are chumps. Everybody who dare people is what they can't fight. But I got people.
You gotta have the intimidation.
No, part of the problem is growing up in any major city,
Yeah.
and this could be black, white, Latino, Asian, Arab. The city sadly positions you where you gotta be hard-nosed.
Yeah, yeah.
And about 22 years ago now, I sat down with my wife and I decided, you know what? We're going on a mission of kindness. It's the reason why black men are dying from hypertension at a rate faster than anybody. Because if we're concentrated in these urban areas and we're walking around like this, I just got past that. Now, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I still do stupid stuff. And that anger still raises up. I was turning in my driveway 2 weeks ago and a car shot on the right, almost T-boned me. I whipped around and chased them for 5 blocks. And about the 6th block, I said, what are you doing? They gonna shoot you and get away with it, right?
Jesus, dude.
And I sat in my driveway.
Especially in Detroit.
Especially in Detroit.
That's like one of the toughest cities
Yeah,
in
it was
America,
crazy.
man.
So I sat in my driveway thinking, man, what was I doing? About 10 minutes later, they bumped a horn
Yeah.
and rode past me. And I said, oh my God. So not only was I tripping, they knew where I lived.
Right.
This is why anger, the Bible says it, you know, and I can't quote the exact scripture, but it's don't let anger rest in your bosom. And growing up in the city, yeah. But if we were down, we'd have been down, right? And I had a big family, so I could talk smack because I go get my crazy brother who might beat you up.
Yeah, I think that's something in all men, you know, like that
Yeah.
that expression, like angry young man. I mean, I was a very angry young man also. You know, I think that's in a lot of men, man. You just got fire in you when you're younger, you know.
And that's why they say women live longer than us, because we do crazy stuff.
Yeah, we do unnecessarily stress ourselves out a lot.
Yeah, we do, man.
If you really
gotta
think
learn
about
to let
it.
stuff go. Gotta learn to tell people you love them.
Yeah.
Gotta learn to hug people.
Yeah.
Gotta learn to interact in ways that will crush all the stereotypes. I don't want to fight. I tell people all the time, well, I used to, we can break bread or we can break bones. I'm older now. I prefer to break bread.
Right.
As a matter of fact, if I cover the meal, you're less likely to want to fight me later.
Right.
Man, we're too advanced of a world, of a species, to still be in conflict. It is crazy to me.
It is crazy.
Man, we
It really
sending
is.
Satellites, we can take out this phone and at the touch of a screen, you can have most history written.
Yep.
And we're still fighting? Come
Yeah.
on, man, this is crazy.
Yeah, I think of that too, man. Like the internet, you would think the internet, if it ever did anything for the world, it would bring peace to the world.
Yeah.
Because you could have people in any country across the world, you know, if a government's lying to you or, you know, your neighbors, you know, starting a conflict or anyone, you name it, you could find the truth right in your pocket.
Right in your pocket.
You know, it's like, that should be the avenue to peace.
And we don't
know?
use it. You know what this is?
Oh, God.
This is
we're
alcohol.
going-
This is alcohol. So when I was
Yeah.
17, 18, and we might have been chumps, and
Yeah.
we knew we couldn't beat the guy, around the corner or that was talking trash, what did you do? You got juiced up and you got liquid courage, right?
Yep. Couple friends together.
That's right. And so now you got virtual courage.
Right.
People sending messages and saying stuff. And so
keyboard warriors.
Keyboard warriors.
Yeah,
so I'm on this mission of kindness. I mean, really. No, not a chump, but I'm on a mission of kindness. How do we create an environment? And that's why I love the motorcycle community. Mm-hmm. We're out racing each other. You break. They bringing you tools over, and in some cases parts,
right.
You know. And so no, I tell people that's the life we're supposed to live.
Right.
Especially with all this technology.
Right.
Try it. If you start being kind, because the energy you put out, watch what kindness come to you.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah, man, ain't that the truth?
Yeah, I'm trying. I might go to seminary school or something. No, I'm just joking. Yeah. They won't let me in.
Well, you said you were an educator for most of your career, right?
Yeah.
Like grade school or
all of them.
Okay.
I did K-5. I did middle school. I did high school. I worked with young adults. I was a school social worker, a guidance counselor, dean of students, and then I moved through the administrative ranks from assistant principal to superintendent.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, what a wild career. Did you ever think, I'm assuming you're retired from that career now?
Nope.
No?
I quit.
Oh, okay.
And I'm only saying that because my wife said, if you don't tell people you are not retired, no, I do not have a steady income coming in.
Okay.
You know? So if you have refund bottles you would like to send to me, send them to We Want to Help Detroit Fund at, no, I'm just joking.
Oh. Dude, my podcast that released this week, that dude gave his address, said send him whatever you want.
Listen, folks.
I said, you're crazy.
Well, I did that on.
Don't do that.
No,
dude.
you shouldn't do that.
Do not do that.
I did that on Facebook. That's why I kind of got off. A guy was being a keyboard warrior, and I sent him my address. I was like, look, we can talk about it or be about it.
Yeah.
There's no need to keep on going around. So I said, I prefer that we break bread. And then my wife was like, what, it was stupid.
Yeah.
And so, but no, if you want to reach me, reach out to Detroit Antique Motorcycles on Instagram or my Traveling Black History Museum. And speaking of donations, we absolutely take donations for artifacts. And if you got an artifact that you paid for, but you don't want to donate, but you want to sell, reach out as well. And then I do my Detroit Antique Motorcycle Show in Detroit, or the Damn Show. It's the only show in the country that gives a Super Bowl ring, a class ring.
That's awesome.
No points.
That's so cool.
We don't judge the bikes. You can't even put your name next to the bike. You can't put a poster next to the bike because it forces you to talk to people about your bike. And after the show, we give you your class ring. So no matter where you are in the country, somebody can run into you and see your ring and say, well, what damn class were you in? Mom, I'm not cursing. That stands for Detroit's Antique Motorcycle Show.
Awesome. Awesome. And I'm going to put the links to all this too.
Absolutely.
And show notes and whatever else.
Absolutely.
Damn, I just had something in my head. I forgot.
See how you just gave a shout out to my show and didn't even know it? You said, damn. We're going to drop the N. Rob said, damn, it's my show. It'll come back to you.
Oh, this is what I wanted to ask. After you quit being an educator, did you ever think about motivational speaking? You're such a good speaker, man.
I have.
Very positive energy,
the positive energy, yes, I've been practicing on. The speaking I've been doing since I was about 10 months old, so it's just time to get paid for it.
Yeah. Were you always the kid in the family that was that just wouldn't shut up?
No. I was a
shy kid?
I was a introvert.
Oh, really?
You know how introverts hide being an introvert, appearing to be an extrovert.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've heard this a lot about stand-up comedians.
Yeah.
Even though they're out on the stage, you should do that. Yeah, they're very.
Dave Chappelle, Kevin Hart. If you need some opener, I would do a donut on the stage, fall off.
Dude, I've had some pretty crazy people reach out, but damn, that would be the pinnacle of my career if Dave Chappelle reached out.
Dave Chappelle, Kevin Hart, Haddish.
That would be crazy.
I just said, Cat Williams. No, but the speaking, we have a requirement to care for people.
Yeah.
And so, but it means you have to engage them. And I'm like the biggest walking anomaly. I don't usually talk about my education when I'm doing the motorcycle stuff. And there's some days I think I'm gonna wake up
Yeah.
in an insane asylum going, oh my God, I didn't do all that stuff.
Yeah.
I thought I did. Man, I had some great mentors, and I wind up going to some of the best universities in the world.
Yeah.
And now when I quit my job, I want to make it related what I do now from a passion to motorcycles and to my Traveling Black History Museum. And it'll have its tipping point. It's not bringing in the income steadily, but the passion, I love it. There's only 4 wealths in the world. Social wealth, that's why this internet is sometimes dangerous. Financial wealth, it gives you a freedom to do what you want. Spiritual wealth and physical wealth. And most people sacrifice the last 2 for the first 2. We want social recognition and finances, but we aren't happy.
Right.
Well, young people, don't quit your job unless you got a plan, because quitting your job is for TV.
Right.
You'll be like me trying to, as I said yesterday, get my OnlyFans page going. I'm joking about it.
He did say that yesterday.
I'm telling
He did. Keep a lookout, and if he gets that kicking off soon, I will also put that link in the show notes.
Look, you can manage it.
I'll be your OnlyFans manager. Yo, Randy, that was good on Friday night, man, but you got to shake it a little more, dude.
That's right. I'm not doing any nudes
Yeah.
for under $50.
Yeah, everything's got its price, man.
Everything's got
its
its price,
price, man. But we're gonna get back to that in 2 seconds. I gotta just hit a little interrupter thing on this camera,
Absolutely.
and then that same time, just 2 seconds.
Do what
man.
you do, baby. Do what you do.
Yeah. And we're back. All right, so
back.
well, I'll stitch it out all together. But what I wanted to ask you was, speaking of all that, Dave Chappelle, Kevin Hart, if you want to reach out, dude, any day, dude, I'll fly wherever you're at.
Haddish, Cat Williams. I'm just saying.
Dude, Cat Williams would be crazy, dude.
Listen,
It'd be
and Kevin
crazy.
Hart got these car collections that people need to see. He needs to kind of branch off into vintage motorcycles. But you know who I've been trying to
Really?
get down with? So I'm using my 6 degrees of separation. Because we have this exhibit looking at black riders. Michael Jordan
Oh, dude,
has a motorcycle
he's got a racing team. Yeah.
You know. Give me 1 minute,
Yeah, man, we're
brother.
shooting a show.
That's all right. Well, you're in it now. Come over and at least shake my hand.
I'm Gerald, the bartender.
Gerald the
Oh, the
bartender.
bartender.
So if you see me staggering, it's because of Gerald, and I don't drink, so he puts something
Dude,
in
you're trying to
there.
derail the show here.
That's all right, baby. I'll definitely chat with you about
Okay.
the museum. Gerald, it's a pleasure.
Sorry to interrupt
No.
you.
It was
Okay.
meant to be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nothing is by
Yes,
happenstance.
man.
All right.
Yes, man.
And
All
don't
right.
forget to tip your servers.
That's right. If y'all ain't taking care of Jerry the bartender, don't even come down here. Bring your money.
Yeah. So you were saying Michael Jordan's got a racing team.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
So
it's
Michael
awesome.
Jordan has a racing team. There's a little clip of him on YouTube talking about people saying motorcycles are dangerous, and he was so true. What? It was so great to hear
Yeah.
someone of that status say that, because most people don't know 75% of all motorcycle accidents are the rider's fault. So when they try to push back on him about the dangers of motorcycle, first of all, he got a professional race team.
Right.
So they know what they're doing.
Right.
This cat's like me that's trying to be like that might mess up every now and then.
Right.
So yeah, MJ, if you hear this, we need some wonderful donations, maybe a signed race suit or a helmet, so
Yeah.
we can continue to grow our traveling Black History Museum special exhibit,
Yeah.
Blacks in Motion, Riding in the Tracks of History.
Yeah, that would be wild. I don't
be
know if
wild.
he's into vintage bikes or what a personal collection for Michael Jordan looks like, but
Yeah,
if
need-
you had a
look.
piece from him, that would be wild.
Need to get a vintage bike, MJ. Well,
Yeah,
I'm
man.
being too informal. Mr. Jordan.
Yeah, dude, he is. But first off, I think he's the greatest athlete that's ever lived. But besides that, that's like, I don't know if you want to call that history or not, but his life, like the gambling and his athleticism across different sports is
Mike,
just
I didn't bring
wild,
up the
man.
gambling, so if you still
No.
want to donate to him, no, I'm just
Dude,
joking.
the gambling is fascinating to me, dude.
Well,
it's fascinating.
The reason why you're not even joking, I joke
wild,
about
man.
it,
No, I'm-
is
I'm-
because it's facets of our life.
Right.
And we will take a sliver of somebody's life and
Right.
try to make that their whole life.
Right.
And that's crazy. That's why I don't subscribe to the cancel culture. And mainly because I'm a Christian. You got to give me room for redemption.
Right.
But when you look at, and you said something, I don't know if it's history, everything we do is history.
Yeah.
This moment right now is history. We have a saying in the museum that not only do we teach history, have you stand in the footprint of history, we want to help you make history. So look, you're standing in the Traveling Black History Museum. You're part of our history now. I'm part of your history because I'm on this great podcast. Give a shout out, all donations go to, no.
We'll get to that at the end too. We can keep saying it, but yeah, man, and that's the cool part too is with the internet now, this is gonna live on the internet forever.
Right.
You know, so people, there could be a kid in 20, 30 years from now, you know, looking at this and that could change the course of his life, you know.
Absolutely.
Or her life, whatever.
Well, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to, we beat up the next generation.
Right.
This generation, any generation that fails, it's the generations fought before them.
Right, right.
Period.
I'm personally hopeful for the next
Oh,
generation.
yeah, man.
You know, I'm very optimistic about it.
Yeah, there's some young cats out there, especially
Look what's
doing
on
this.
this floor, dude.
You see how many
Look
young
what's on
people
this
are
floor.
here?
It's Dude, the game has been upped so much.
Look,
It's crazy.
you got cats like Jeff Bailey, they call him Fish, out of Detroit, goes by Shiners Unlimited, doing some crazy things in Pontiac. You got a young cat, Aaron Lovelace. I'm even rocking his shirt. I didn't even know I was going to talk about him. And so, man, this guy got a pilot license, restored his own plane, but the bikes he's building, oh my God.
Yeah.
And I think he's 27.
Yeah, I just heard about him yesterday. Blew my mind.
Look, and when
Blew my
people
mind.
talk about people aren't doing it, that's not true. It's a lot of young bloods doing. There's a cat, and I apologize. His name's Flips, and he's right out of here in Milwaukee. Built his own bike, got hit on the bike, totaled the bike, got the money, and built another bike. So that bike will be at the damn show.
Nice.
We're looking to do something here, excuse me, in Milwaukee during the 120th celebration of Harley Davidson.
Awesome.
You know.
Was that the tall white kid? That
Yes.
tall white kid with the long Springer?
Yes.
Yeah.
The bike is here.
Yeah, it's here somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember I talked to him too. Crazy, right?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
young talent. So let's quit talking about what this generation is not doing. Just
Right.
not true. We're doing some wonderful things. They're doing some wonderful things, and hopefully we're inspiring them, right?
Right. I'm gonna pick up the camera. We'll take a little walk around, but
Absolutely.
I wanna kind of get back to the root of that question. Another thing that blew my mind, like looking on, I really scrolled back and checked out some of your Instagram. Do you find a lot of these celebrities and athletes and stuff, or how do they come into your life? I feel like you're a magnet, dude.
Yes.
It blew my mind. I never scrolled really far back, you know, and did a lot of homework until we established this show. But after that, I said, this is crazy, man. I can't believe all these people that come into your life.
Nobody's ever asked that question, am I a magnet? And the answer is yes. We all are magnets. We attract what we put out.
Right.
And
right.
so, and I didn't think about it until, you know.
Right.
But yeah, it's like, I want to leave this earth having two things said.
Yep.
Man, I'm glad I got to meet him. And man, I really wish I would have had a chance to meet him. And that means you got to care for people.
Right.
I mean, I run into folks and it's like, wow, they're just like they are on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
I've run into some people and I'm like, I want to tell them you ain't nothing like what you present.
Right.
When I present kindness, that's what I give. Yeah, I have some bad days. Yeah, there's some days I question if I'm doing is making an impact. And we all have that. Self-esteem is not static. But if you put that out, man, it'll come back to you. There's a cat, C.T. Fletcher. He got them guns, them muscles, right? And so he has commented, I love what you're posting, the positive stuff. I'm like, who is this guy? Then I looked and was like, oh my God.
Crazy, man.
This guy is
Crazy.
like a 3 or 4 time bodybuilding, weightlifting champion.
Yep.
And I'm going, then I started looking at his stuff. And it's cool, because I don't curse too much,
Yeah.
definitely on camera, but he'll curse you out, but it's in the most positive way in the world.
Yep.
Like-minded people attract like-minded. So if you having a bad existence, you need to start looking around at the circle you're in, really.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to have people that push you and motivate you and going to tell you the truth, but not tell you the truth to hurt your feelings.
Right.
I hate that saying, keeping it real, but then you're nasty. Nobody
Right.
wants to hear that. If it's not palatable,
Right.
you got to, even if it's the truth, still make it where it's eaten.
What I tell people, if there's no kindness or humor or some sort of end goal positivity,
That's right.
you're
Come
just
on.
being mean now.
You're just being mean.
You know, you're not gainfully contributing to this conversation, you know?
And you know, in the last 5 years, you know how we get to project meanness? We call everybody else marshmallows. We say, oh, this soft generation.
Right.
And then that gives people a pass to be mean.
Right.
You don't have to be mean. I don't talk politics on Instagram at all.
Right.
It never goes well, because that's flat. That's a flat surface. Let's sit in front of each other.
Right.
Man, there's people from all over, and we got more in common than we got differences. Now, our differences might be big,
Right.
so we don't talk about the differences. Let's talk about what we got in common,
Right.
you know. And so, yeah, we do attract what we put out, and I hope that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do for humanity and trying to be as kind as I can be.
I think you are, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, getting back to something you had said, you know, after you're gone, I wish I met him. Or what'd you say? I wish I met him, or I wish I.
Oh, I'm glad I
I'm
got
glad
to
I
know
met
him.
him.
Yeah.
Glad I got to know him.
Right.
One of my huge regrets with this podcast was for the last few years of Austin Johnson's life, and the world knows him as Shovelhead Austin.
Yeah.
We had talked forever, and then COVID hit. And, you know, we don't got to get into that history with him, but anyways, we had talked about doing a show forever, and the last couple years of his life, I became pretty close to him. I only knew him for about 3 years, but we got real close the last year really. Almost a week didn't even go by we didn't talk, or
That's what I'm
you know,
talking
maybe 3 weeks, you know.
Wow.
But we got pretty close toward the end, and you said he has helped you out a little.
Yeah.
With some of the history, I say we take a walk around,
Yeah, well,
and you kind of show us some of your favorite pieces.
Absolutely.
Talk about some of it, you know.
Well, I want to say this too about Shovelhead Austin, Brown Sugar, as he was known in his riding days. When I was still edgy and losing my way sometimes, I've communicated with him. I never had, and that's one of the regrets, never had a chance to shake his hand, invite him to the show. He wasn't able to make it out. But before we started chatting, somebody said something flippant on one of my posts. Or no, on one of his posts.
Okay.
And I'm like, I have a saying, you know, if you come for me, I'll be here waiting, right?
Right.
So I'm like, you're not going after, you know, Shovelhead Austin. So I responded.
Right.
And to the person, not to, like, Shovel, you should say this, I responded. He sent me a DM, he sent me a message. He said, we don't have to do that. You're an OG.
Right.
You're way above that.
Right.
And I'm like, man, I'm getting checked by him. What an honor, right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so-
Anyone who had their lives touched by him, it's an honor. It was an honor, man.
Well, his riding partner is still living from back in the day. His riding partner, Spade George, out of San Francisco.
Yeah,
And
I
so-
rode with Spade George at Austin's funeral.
Man, that's what I'm talking about.
It was just an honor getting to meet him. Like I said, we got pretty close at the end there. And yeah, it was an honor, man. Anyone who was ever touched by that guy, I don't think will ever forget.
He was so kind.
Yeah.
And this is the thing, when you're seeing these folks, I fanboy over these folks. It might not be Hollywood or TV and things like that.
Right.
But the builders and people who live this, man,
Yeah.
I lose it.
Yeah.
I'm like, look.
That's what I tell people. I follow this stuff like some people follow sports, you know.
Yeah.
But it's because the people, man. The people are what it's all about.
And this is definitely our sport, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
But let's check out what you got.
All right.
Make this a little easier. Yeah, all right, man.
So what you're looking at is this collection of history related to African Americans. So if you start over here, this newspaper article came out of motorcycling and bicycling in 1913. And it was an article talking about the black board track racers of the day. And we started hearing about this. A friend of mine, Dave Morrell, who used to write Deadly Days blog, he found some of this information and he started putting it out there. Then I got to meet him, and said, I want to carry this on as part of my museum collection. So I've started looking up stuff and going to archives and historical libraries. And so we collect. This bike is a static display similar to what would have been raced in the day. And
that's a board track racer.
Board track racer. And I set this one up so students can sit on it. I didn't bring the proper seat where I could have let people here sit on it as well and see what it felt like. Then I do the black mannequin because I want folks to say, oh, why is there a black mannequin? And you get drawn over and you find out this history. And then we have the information. I lost my voice 3 times yesterday because I was like, yeah, I better put this poster up. Because I really like talking to people. Too often we miss the opportunity to engage, but you can hear the voice going now. But yeah, you got artifacts, man. Ben Hardy, the legend. He's known as Benny, but respectfully, Mr. Hardy built the 2 bikes for Easy Rider.
Right.
Built Captain America, and he built the Billy bike. And then his mentee, Sugar Bear. This was Sturgis last year. I had an opportunity to stand with Sugar Bear and Willie G. I saw them together, and I said, man, that'll be a great picture. That's William Johnson, first African-American dealer. He had a dealership, started in 1928. And what's crazy, right? Here at the time, this might have been the 40s, 50s, I don't know, on some beach. There's no black guy in the picture, but yet they understood his work because this guy is wearing a shirt it promotes his shop in Somers, New York. Then I went there and got a brick from the foundation. It had caught fire and they did some work, and some of the bricks were still there. So
cool, man.
Yeah, we just got the history. And then for the latest, Bessie Stringfield, the Queen of Miami. Here was this woman riding across country in the 30s and 40s, and that wasn't safe in the car for black folks, and she was doing it on a motorcycle. She's the first woman credited with doing a solo, African-American woman doing a solo ride across the United States, and she did that over 10 times. So, and then she was a civilian dispatch for the U.S. Army. She was bad. She was bad.
Yeah, dude, that's a crazy story. I had another person on this podcast talking about her that inspired her. Blah, blah, blah.
She was that deal. And then when I talk about making history, this is a race that was just done in Flabob Airport. We're running a 8th mile at a vintage airport in Riverside, and went down. My handlebars broke, all this crazy stuff, kept racing. This is Mel, who owns the Racer Gentleman, and someone captured this picture. And like I said, history is not static, it's constant. And so tell people, go out and make history. And then I get to relive the history in the last photo. I'll show this one and I'll kind of move it so nobody can take a screenshot. But somebody...
Do you want me to not be...
No, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
This was donated by Gary Phelps. And this is one of the baddest African-American racers of the time. He was the Negro motorcycle champion from 1913 to about early 20s, and he dominated the races. And what's crazy, he knew Hammond Springs, the young guy who ran for Indian, and there was one race where they even switched in Hammond Springs factory race motor so he can remain champion. I mean, the relationships are more about what we do than who we are.
Right.
And I also promote that as well.
Okay, you want to talk about one more thing too? The outlaw here. Yeah, outlaw. You had said like the little history
absolutely.
on where that whole term outlaw and all that.
So the outlaw term actually started early. So when we look at the MC set now, and we want to know which clubs are one percenters and outlaws. So one percenters started when the AMA was arguing to the national public that, look, 99% of us who ride motorcycles are good folks.
Right.
It's just 1% that's not doing it right.
Right.
So that term came from there. And then most people reference 1% as outlaws. But in actuality, some of the first outlaws of the motorcycle set was the African American riders. Because under the FAM, which was the Federation of American Motorcyclists, African American riders weren't allowed to race in any sanctioned race. They weren't allowed to join FAM. And if you raced at a track, you were an outlaw because it wasn't sanctioned if you were black. Right. So the newspapers even said outlaw. So this guy's name was Demon, his nickname was Demon Wade because he was a speed demon. That's what they call the racers. But one of the coolest names of the day was Bones, the Outlaw, because they did outlaw racing. There are tracks that lost their sanction right to run AMA or FAM before AMA, and their track went bankrupt. Part of what happens is that all we're doing is promoting that people look for history. So when you look at these helmets, it was still a situation where a lot of the black clubs might have not been recognized to the set. So we have a saying in the street, you gotta show up and show out.
Right.
So there were kits that was made, and you can make your own helmet. This gentleman out of Dayton, Ohio, made 2 Gladiator helmets, one for himself and one for his wife. And a friend of mine, Josh Shaw, who restores Miller race cars, he lived in Ohio. He was able to acquire these helmets. He knew the work we was doing. And Josh said, I think this should be a part of the collection so you can share the story, you know.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, so it's a lot of history, and what we try to do is get it out there, you know.
Yeah.
And today, if you are running a race and it's not sanctioned, you are an outlaw.
Right.
And you can thank some of the early African American riders for having constantly pushed that envelope.
Awesome.
See, we're all connected to history and we don't even know it.
Right. I'm going to put this back down. I'm just going to set it on a tripod, and
Absolutely.
I think that's a good way to go out. And yeah, just tell the people one more time where to reach you. You know, whatever you want to throw one more last message out there.
Absolutely. Look, folks, if you want to come out and check out one of the fastest growing motorcycle shows in the country, it's the Damn Show in Detroit. It's usually the second weekend in September, unless that falls on September the 11th. As a veteran, we try not to do anything on September 11th. It's called Detroit's Antique Motorcycle Show. You can hear more about it under my Instagram, which is Detroit Antique Motorcycle. And then as far as the museum, if you want the museum to come out to you, reach out to us through the Traveling Black History Museum for the cost to have us come out. And we have artifacts from antebellum right up to today. But if you wanted a special exhibit, we also do special exhibits as well. And this one, as I said, is called Blacks in Motion, Riding in the Footprint of History. So reach out, let's spread the love. Let's continue to grow this motorcycle family and do what we do. Brother Rob, I appreciate you, man, for even your willingness to come over and chat it up and get down for the get down.
Absolutely, man. It's always a pleasure, Randy. It's you're another guy in my life. I'm thankful.
Thank you, brother.
You know.
Thank you.
And see you later, Internet. Thank you, guys. See you next week.
All right, right on. Well, I hope that worked out for